Players transferring to different schools in college football has been a thing for decades now, but right now the transfer portal is bigger than ever, as some recruits use it to start a new journey either at a bigger school or lower level school, and then some coaches use it to either maintain or build success at the school that they're currently at. And with the transfer portal being such a utilized tool in today's era of college football, I want to take a look at what happened to every top ranked transfer portal player since the transfer portal has been a thing. Disclaimer before we get any farther, the earliest transfer portal rankings I can find is 2018 with 247 Sports, so we will be using that website and we will start in 2018. The number one transfer portal player in the 2018 class was Jack Jones. Coming out of high school, Jack Jones was a 5-star prospect, and on an interview with Snoop Dogg, he would actually commit to USC over schools like Alabama and Texas A&M and many more. Now, Jones' freshman season at USC, he didn't really do too much. He had 13 tackles, 1 pass deflection, but like I said, he was a true freshman, so he didn't really get crazy playing time. Jones' sophomore season is where he flashed his potential, racking up 40 tackles, 4 interceptions, 8 pass deflections, a fumble recovery, and a forced fumble. Not too long after his sophomore season, Jones would run into some issues as he would face some academic problems and have to go the JUCO route. After a year of playing JUCO football, he would then go back to the Pac-12, but this time at Arizona State. Jones' first season at Arizona State, he showed out. 45 tackles, 3 interceptions, 13 pass deflections, and he had a forced fumble. On top of that, he earned first team all Pac-12 honors. Jones would spend 2 more years at Arizona State where he would have 3 forced fumbles, 7 pass deflections, and 3 interceptions. After a good college career, Jones was chosen in the 4th round with the 121st pick by the New England Patriots. Through the first couple of weeks, Jones would make some good plays, but in week 4 is when he truly made an impact, and in his first start against the Green Bay Packers in week 4, he would have a fumble recovery, a forced fumble, and a pick 6 all in 1 half. Against Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions the next week, Jones will have another interception, and according to PFF, he was graded as the number 1 cornerback in single coverage. He ended his rookie season with 30 tackles, 2 interceptions, and 6 pass deflections. In the offseason, Jones would run into problems, as his carry-on luggage was found with 2 guns in him, and he would face multiple charges due to this. Jones would plead not guilty to all the charges, but when he thought it couldn't get worse, before week 1, he would suffer a hamstring injury. He was placed on injured reserve, and then before week 9, he missed curfew, and then after that, he had a reduced role. In week 10, he had a bad week, and after that, he was cut. Not too long after, though, he was picked up by the Las Vegas Raiders, and so far, he has spent a season and a half there. In his season and a half, Jones has racked up 20 pass deflections and 5 interceptions. I don't know if the Raiders will keep him in the offseason, but I do believe that he will have another spot in the NFL if they don't. The number 1 ranked transfer portal prospect in 2019 was Josh Jackson. I was sure that was Jalen Hurts, but no, it was Josh Jackson. Jackson out of high school was a 3-star prospect, and after a good high school career, he would actually commit to the Virginia Tech Hokies. Jackson ended up redshirting his freshman season, but in 2017, he was named the starter. In his first game, Jackson threw for 235 yards, 1 touchdown, and rushed for 101 yards and 1 touchdown. At the end of his first season starting, Jackson would throw for almost 3,000 yards, 20 touchdowns, and just 9 interceptions. Now that was a great building block going into his sophomore season, but just 3 games into that season, he would fracture his left fibula and he would be out for the remainder of that year. After those 2 seasons at Virginia Tech, Jackson would then enter the transfer portal where he would pick Maryland as his final destination of college. His lone season with the Terrapins, Jackson would play in 10 games, throw for 1,200 yards, 12 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He just didn't look the same since that leg injury. Jackson would have a chance to play in the 2020 season, but he would opt out, and that would basically end his football career. I couldn't find anything about him playing in any spring leagues, but I did see, according to his Twitter bio, that he has a PhD from Indiana, so that's cool. The number 1 transfer portal player in 2020 was Trey Sermon. Out of high school, Trey Sermon was a highly rated recruit who committed to Oklahoma. As a true freshman with the Sooners, Sermon would play in 13 games and start 3 of those games where he rushed for over 700 yards and 5 touchdowns. Sermon in his sophomore season is where he started to turn heads, as he had over 900 yards, 13 touchdowns, all while sharing snaps with Kennedy Brooks. But in 2019, his workload got a little bit lighter, as he had 110 less carries compared to his sophomore season, and he only had 300 yards. After those 3 seasons, Sermon would end his tenure with the Sooners, and he would then enter the transfer portal, where he would join the Ohio State Buckeyes. In his lone season with Ohio State, Sermon would rush for 870 yards and 4 touchdowns, and helped to reach a Big Ten championship game. In that game against Northwestern, Sermon would rush for 331 yards, making it Ohio State game record. Against Clemson in the Sugar Bowl, he would have 193 rushing yards, 1 touchdown, and we helped them win, advancing to the national championship. After those 2 really great games though, he would just play 1 snap against Alabama in the national championship because he would suffer an injury and never return. After a solid 4-year college career, Sermon went into the NFL draft where he was picked in the 3rd round by the San Francisco 49ers. Sermon's NFL career hasn't really amounted to much. He's played for 3 teams in 4 years, the 49ers, the Colts, and the Eagles. In those 4 years, Sermon has rushed for 500 yards, 3 touchdowns, and I don't know how much longer he'll be on the NFL roster, but hopefully he's on there for a couple more years. Now we jump to the career of Henry To'o, who was the #1 transfer portal player in 2021. To'o was basically a star player from the start in college. In his freshman season at Tennessee, To'o would be 2nd on the team with tackles with 72, and he would be named to the SEC All-Freshman team. The next year, Henry led the team in tackles with 76, including 10 tackles for loss. He also had the pick 6 that season. He was also named 2nd team All-ACC as well. In the offseason, To'o would then transfer to Alabama, where his first year there, he had 112 tackles, 9 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, 2 pass deflections, and he was named 1st team All-SEC. He would then spend 1 more year at Alabama where he had 94 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks, and he was again named 2nd team All-ACC. Entering the NFL draft, To'o would then be picked in the 5th round by the Houston Texans. So far, he spent 2 seasons in the league where he's been solid, having 166 tackles, 1.5 sacks, 1 interception, 5 pass deflections, and he helped the Texans make the playoffs back-to-back years. Caleb Williams was the #1 player in the 2022 portal, and to start out his career, it was at Oklahoma. Since Oklahoma had Spencer Rattler, it looked like Caleb Williams was going to have to sit out a year, but Spencer Rattler was playing so bad that Caleb Williams came in, threw for almost 2,000 yards, 21 touchdowns, but then after the season, he entered the portal. He will follow his head coach Lincoln Riley to USC, where his first season there, he had 4,500 yards, 42 touchdowns. He won the Maxwell Award, Walter Camp Award, and most importantly, the Heisman Trophy. Williams had 1 more year at USC where he had 3,600 passing yards, 30 touchdowns, and then he entered the NFL draft where he was picked #1 overall by the Chicago Bears. Now through his rookie season, Williams had some ups and downs, but he was sacked 68 times, so it's hard to be consistently good behind that offensive line. But with the Bears hiring Ben Johnson, and they're probably going to make some moves this offseason to help with the development of Caleb Williams. Now we got 2-way star Travis Hunter being the #1 player in the portal in 2023. Hunter surprised everybody coming out of high school because he committed to Jackson State. Hunter would play both sides in the ball in college as he accumulated 19 tackles, 8 pass deflections, and 2 interceptions on defense, adding in 18 receptions, 188 receiving yards, and 4 receiving touchdowns on offense. After the season was over, he would then follow Shedeur and Deion Sanders to Colorado. While at Colorado, he also played both sides of the ball, racking up 66 tackles, 7 interceptions, 16 pass deflections, 1 forced fumble. And on offense in his 2 years there, he's had almost 2,000 receiving yards, 20 receiving touchdowns. Oh, and with him being such a great player on both sides of the ball, he also won the Heisman Trophy last season. He didn't only win the Heisman Trophy, he won the Ben Derrick Award, the Walter Camp Award, and he was named a back-to-back All-American. And I can't guarantee that he'll be the #1 pick in this year's NFL draft, but I can guarantee that he'll be a top 5 pick. Now we jump to Caleb Downs, who was the #1 player in the portal last year, and he was also a star player since his freshman season. As a freshman, Caleb Downs had 107 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 4 pass deflections, 2 interceptions, and he was one of the best safeties in the nation. After helping Alabama reach the college football playoffs but losing to Michigan, Downs went into the transfer portal because of Nick Saban retiring, and then he would go to Ohio State. Just this past season at Ohio State, he had 82 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, 6 pass deflections, 2 interceptions once again, and he was an All-American. On top of that, he helped Ohio State win a national title. And after next season, Downs will probably be a top pick in the NFL draft. And as you can see, some of the transfer portal players ended up going to the NFL, some ended up being college football stars still, and some just ended up, well, we don't know what really happened to them. But that's all for this video. Let me know in the comment section what y'all want to see next, and until next time, I'm out. Peace.